Good morning, sweet friends. This is Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. Today I'm going to play in my journal. I'm working in my little journal and I'm going to do a spread that's not, let's see, the focus is not going to be on the visual. So I'm not looking to make a pretty picture. The focus is going to be on words. So this is a journal entry where it's just more about getting down my thoughts and my feelings. I'm not really into making it look pleasing. I mean, I want it to look, okay. But I'm not all jazzed up about materials, no paints, no, pretty papers, anything like that. I am literally grabbing what is right next to me because I just want to get down my thoughts and my feelings. So sometimes that's the way you journal, and there's nothing wrong with that. Journaling can be lots of things. Journaling can be scrapbooking. Journaling can be about photos. Journaling can be about memories. Journaling can be about lists. Journaling can be about playing with materials. Journaling can be about experimenting with different media and mediums in art. So today it's all about just me getting down some thoughts. So I've had my Etsy shop, on vacation for a while because I'm kind of doing some rethinking, which is good. This is something that, with whatever you do in life, whether it is your career or your personal life or your house or whatever, it's always good to just go back and kind of reflect. And for me personally, I am a person who loves to make changes. I love changing things. I love it when things work well, but then I'm always trying to find the new and improved. So with my shop here lately, I've been dabbling a lot in things outside of journals. Now, journals are my love. Journals will always be my love. I think I've told you that it started with my Golden Book collection, and I'm just, journals are my outlet. They are my way to be creative. But I have a lot of other things that I love, and that's kind of where my shop has been turning towards. A lot of rescued, salvaged, vintage, thrifted items that are close to my heart, fabrics and vintage sheets, cross stitch and abandoned crochet and knitting and all those types of crafts. And I think it really just kind of has come about because of me doing this Homebodies collection, which, by the way, I still am working on journals. I'm hoping to have about 3 of them done in the next couple of weeks to put in my shop. But what I'm really thinking about here is changing my shop so that it's not just about journals. It's about taking in all of those, it's almost like a dog rescue, taking in all of those old-timey crafts and items and giving them a new life. Now, I'm going to keep my shop the same setup, and I'm going to keep my name, the Rebookery. But I think I want to broaden my horizons a little bit and just kind of really give those found objects that I'm finding, in my travels and my thrift and all this good stuff. I want to give them new homes, and my home is not always that home because I'm running out of space, and what's the point? I don't want to hoard and collect. That goes against my purpose. My purpose is I want these things to find a new life. So this morning when I got up, I've been thinking about this a lot. And this morning when I got up, I sat down I just have this little spiral notebook that I've just write a whole bunch of stuff in, and I'll have to show you guys sometime. It's actually become like my little journal type thing. I just I write stuff down in there and do sketches and things like that. But I came up with, why do I do what I do? Why do I have the Rebookery? It's not for monetary value. It's so much more than that. It's the relationships and the the people that I've met and the community that I have gotten involved with, and seeing other people's work and other people's art and other people's perspectives on things. So I want to include that, but I also want to stay true to my whole point. And I think that was what I wanted to get down on this journal spread today. What is my point for the rebookery? So I came up with 7 items, 7 things, 7 reasons why I have the rebookery. So my plan was in this journal spread was I wanted to document those 7 things. It's almost like my mission statement. I want to document my mission statement. Here is why I have the rebookery. So I literally am just grabbing things right out of the basket that's next to me. And I'm, again, like I said, I don't care what this looks like. I don't think a single thing matches on this page. And I'm doing this journaling a little bit backwards. Usually I do like journaling and stuff, and then I finish with like a title or something, but I totally did it backward. If you noticed, I started with my title, and that came about with using a scrap of a transparency, and I wanted my title to be why. So I used the transparency because I wanted to use I actually made a little business stamp. I had a company, I sent off my logo to a company and they turned it into a stamp. So I stamped that on the transparency and then stuck it on this little paper, this little wrapping paper that I had on my journal spread. And then I wanted to put the words why there. So my thinking was this journal spread would have my 7 reasons all around the word why. So as I was going through trying to figure out how I wanted this to look, because again, I was doing this backwards. I started with the title and I don't normally do this. I kind of fumbled around a lot. So I actually edited out probably 3/4 of this video because there was just so much fumbling. But I came to the realization that I have all these little tags from my thrift store adventures, and I love the tags. They are so cool. I think somebody on Instagram posted one time when I had a picture of these tags, they said, I would buy a sack of dirt just so I could get one of those tags. And I thought that was so funny. So I think I'm going to use the tags as my numbers. And so I just pulled those tags out and flipped through my stickers, found some stickers I was going to use, and I just put a sticker on each one of those tags and then just set them around the page. So once I got that set up, then I needed to go back and I needed to actually write down each one of my reasonings. So the first reasoning of why I do what I do is about repurposing. It's about saving something that already was used and is headed to the landfill. There are a lot of things I'm sure you are aware of that are in the landfill. Even things that we think get recycled don't always get recycled. They end up in another country or on another continent or in someone's backyard, and it's just there. So anytime we can save something from the environment, anytime we can say something from the landfill, that makes me happy. So that's my number 1. My number 2, anytime I use something for an unintended purpose, it makes my creativity just explode. In fact, that's the way I approach most things is, okay, I know this is how it's supposed to be used, but what could I do with it? And I love that. I love that problem solving. It's almost like, being ingenuity. It's almost like reinventing something. And I love that. And so that's another reason why I have the rebookery and I use the items that I do, is because it really pushes my creativity. My third reason is because this is probably the biggest reason for me. I am so oppositional defiant. I absolutely hate to be like everybody else. This is so bad of me, but if I have an article of clothing and I see somebody else wearing it, like at work or even when I was a kid, like at school, I will not wear that ever again. There's just something about it. I don't know. And it's nothing against the other person. It's me. I just oh, I just can't do it. I have to have my own thing. Even if I'm supposed to do something the same, like at work, I will always, always, always put my own spin on it. So I think having repurposed and thrifted materials really, really speaks to my need and my drive to be individual and one of a kind. And that is just a huge thing. And that's always been a huge thing with me. And honestly, as a teacher, I try to pass that on to my students. I really do try, especially with middle schoolers, because it's so hard, but I try to pass on that. Guys, it is okay to be your own. It is okay to use others as a guide, but it's okay to find your own path. And using repurposed and thrifted materials just really makes that so easy. My number 4, I'm going to do here in just a second, but I actually take a break from writing my little tags because I gathered some pictures. I'd been taking pictures of some of my thrifty endeavors, and I just kind of have them in a stack because I really didn't know what I was going to do with them. I wanted to document because this is such a big part of my life, and it is such a big thing that my husband and I like to do together, and it's just kind of our lifestyle is to, constantly be as thrifty and repurposed as possible. So I wanted to incorporate a couple of pieces of, or a couple of pictures of that. I also pulled out some of my thrifted fabric, and I think it's my polyester, which I love, probably because not very many people love polyester. And I just glued that and stuck it on, kind of like you would with washi tape. And I just stuck it down there with my pictures. So number 4, here's number 4. And I love the tag that I was able to use for number 4 because it already had a 4 on it. Environment. As a science teacher, my number 4 is all about, and I know you've heard me say this before, there is already enough stuff in the world. The world has enough stuff. We don't need to put any more stuff in the world. Let's use what we have and let's find a new way to use that stuff. And so number 4 is all about the world has enough stuff. And as I was doing this, I looked over at my sticker collection, and I have some old, oh my gosh, they're probably 70s or 80s stickers, but they are of like science-y stuff, electricity and things like that. So I used those, and you'll see where I put those here in just a second. But probably my favorite part of number 4 is the word prudent. I love the word prudent. It means thinking of the future and being cognizant of things to come. And that word just, I love that word. I love the word prudent. And I also love the name Prudence. The Beatles song Dear Prudence on their White Album is my absolute favorite song in the history of the whole wide world. So this number 4 kind of has a lot of meaning to me, just because of the word prudent. Anyway, okay, so here's those stickers. And it got me thinking about resources and use all the resources it takes to manufacture paper and textiles and books and blah, blah, blah. So I thought it would be fitting to use those stickers for my number 4. So then number 5 is all about the little guy, all about independent and local and small business and, just helping out the little guy. So on this one, I just put hooray for local and independent. And I just used a mix of some letter stickers. I swear I'm going to use every single one of those letter stickers before the end of time. That's my goal, is to get them all used up. I also did, my thinking on number 5 was also, when I buy something, or when you buy something, but I know for me personally, when I buy something from a thrift store, I know that thrift store, at least the ones I go to, are charity driven, or they are run by a church. They're run by a municipality, so it's supporting the city and the community. Now, there are a few brand name thrift stores like Goodwill and Salvation Army. I don't go to those as often. Oh, and Savers. Savers is another one here in my area. I don't go to those as often just because I don't know. I just don't. They're just a little more expensive, and I usually leave those for truly the people who need Salvation Army and Goodwill to actually live daily. But the ones I go to are run by charities and churches, and I feel good about my money going there versus my money going to some gigantic conglomerate, big business type thing. So number 6. So you can see on number 6, I actually had it number 7, and I had to go back and change that. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just used a seam binding little tag that comes whenever you buy seam binding. I just used that, and number 6 was all about every item, everything that we buy when it's repurposed or thrifted has a story and it has energy. And again, I'm pulling on my science brain here because I was totally thinking about the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes form, just because my kids and I just got through doing this at school. And so it really makes me feel good to know that I'm using a piece of fabric that has history. It has an energy. It belonged to someone and did something before it got to me. And I'm going to send it on to someone else, and they're going to do something else with it. So that was what my number 6 was about. And once I got to number 6, I kind of liked how that foldable was working, and I pulled out a few more of my tags that I had from, just some thrifting and stuff. I try to always use those tags over again. So I just stapled those little tags on. I think I added another photo, added a picture, or added a piece of fabric, and just kind of dressed up that number 6. So number 7 is my last one. And I am using a really gaudy piece of wallpaper, and I'm using the wallpaper on purpose. And the wallpaper was actually something I chose before I even started this whole layout, because that wallpaper was probably 1990s or early 2000s. By today's standards in the fashion and decorating industry, people would think that it is ugly. And that was the whole reason why I wanted to use it, because my number 7 is find the beauty in everything. And so I just took the wallpaper, I just cut it up into strips, and then just went over, over top. I wrote in a paint pen, and then I just used some stickers, and I just wrote out, find the beauty in everything. Because something that is thrifted, something that is repurposed, something that is out of date is still beautiful. You just have to find that beauty. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in the new, the improved, the trendy, and we forget, at one time, that thing that is at a thrift store was beautiful. It just may not be according to society, but you can still find the beauty in it. So once I got number 7 on, I wrote my new statement for the rebookery. So my statement for the rebookery, or my mission for the rebookery, has always been repurposing bygone books into curious treasures. But now, since I'm kind of opening up a little bit more to not just books, I wanted to change that. And so I've changed it into repurposing bygone goods into refreshed treasures. And I wrote that on that label sticker and then stuck it right in the middle of my page underneath the word why. And then I have to clean up my big mess, and I'm just taking a look, seeing if it says what I want it to say. Again, I know this is going to be pretty hard for some people to look at, especially if you're a person that likes things matched and lined up. And again, I was not going for visual effect on this one. I just needed to get some things out of my head. I didn't like how that transparency was kind of flopping around, so I just added a little staple. But yeah, it's done, and I like it, and I'm good, and I got it out of my head, so it cleared up some space. and now I'm ready to move on to something else. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great creative day. Stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.